Bohemian Rhapsody has 5 nominations, including Best Picture. Bohemian Rhapsody is the biopic of Freddie Mercury and the legacy of the band Queen. A life story starting when Freddie was a baggage handler at Heathrow Airport, right up until one of his last concerts. They cover his and the band's greatest hits along the way. This movie is not good, but it's not a totally terrible experience. I actually had a pretty good time watching this movie. But it's kind of like when somebody tells you something really amazing that happened to them, and they just tell the story really badly. On the one hand is a really extraordinary person, a truly extraordinary person who lived an extraordinary life. And on the other hand is filmmaking that is by the numbers, that is sentimental, and embodies all of the worst qualities of the Oscar bait historical biopic. Every year these things come out, and there's actually quite a lot of them at the Oscars this year. And it's not as if they're the worst thing in the world. They're often sort of exciting and interesting, but they're just horribly uninspired, usually. Now and then you feel the filmmakers kind of tiptoeing to be responsible with their representation, specifically of the other band members.
I want to give the audience a song that they can perform. What's the lyric?
There are scenes that are there purely to give due credit to other members of the band for guitar licks, for ideas, and...
No one will play us on the radio.
We need to get experimental.
Lightning, very, very frightening.
Like when the band first meets Freddie Mercury. It's in the parking lot behind a bar.
Our lead singer just quit, but then you'll need someone new.
So he sings to convince them that he's worth taking on. And they harmonize with the last 2 notes just to show you, the audience, that they are also great singers. It's not just Freddie who's a great singer, they're also great singers. Now maybe that doesn't sound too bad to most of you, but it breaks the reality of the movie. There are a lot of interesting moments in the movie that aren't really movie moments. They seem designed just to convey some interesting facts to you. In the parking lot scene that I just mentioned, Freddie mentions that he was born with 4 extra incisors, which is partly responsible for his enhanced vocal range. A few scenes later, there's this dinner party, and in this one dinner party scene, they mention Freddie's ancestral heritage, his place of birth, and they give you the impression that he's ashamed of this stuff, and that motivates why he's legally changed his name to Freddie Mercury. Scenes like this will have you going, ah, very interesting, I didn't know that. You know, which is cool, but it's not the movie scene that's cool. There's actually nothing good really about the scene itself. Literally just the fun fact that's, you know, kind of cool. And I think the movie kind of counts on that happening. It kind of counts on you going, interesting fact. I didn't know that. There's very little that the movie does to convey it in an interesting way.
You're a legend, Fred.
Its real function is to try to draw attention to this thing that doesn't have enough eyeballs on it and try to represent that responsibly. There's an emotional story playing out, but it does feel as though their depiction of events is like subtly skewed to cater to a whole bouquet of other people's concerns behind the scenes. So even the stuff that I feel I learned from this movie, I don't know how much I can trust that. So I think I can sum up my take on this movie with this. The movie ends with about 15 minutes of cinematic recreation of one of the band's biggest concerts. It's about 3 or 4 of their biggest hits, end to end, with Rami Malek performing every single pose and every single dance move that Freddie Mercury did at the actual concert, based on existing footage.
Those old time stars, who was the worst, if they did find us.
And now this is praised by people as like a commitment to authenticity. That they got everything, they recreated every part of the concert exactly. But to me, it's the perfect symbol of exactly the opposite. To me, it's a display of the really stark contrast between the band's commitment to creativity and inspiration, and the filmmaker's total lack thereof. It's hard to hate a movie that is 2 hours of interesting facts with good music. It's nice, but it's utterly amazing that this would be nominated for Best Picture. If this wins Best Picture, it'll be a celebration of Freddie Mercury and his important place in history, which I'm sure is worth celebrating. But that would not be an award for great filmmaking, because there isn't any in Bohemian Rhapsody.